What does rain smell like? Have you ever seen the rain? Have you ever listened to raindrops gently tapping on your window or on the roof? Do you know what rain smells like and why it sometimes seems as if the rain is crying? Then get comfortable, snuggle up, and listen to a magical story. A story about what rain smells like and why the rain sometimes cries. This happened in a magical and wonderfully beautiful forest where a little bear named Mika lived with his family. This forest was unlike any other forest because it was truly magical. Everything in it was unusual. The old trees kept ancient secrets. Forest paths sometimes disappeared and then appeared again, and the wind brought amazing stories and news from all around the world, sharing them with the forest. Mika was a brave, kind, and very curious little bear. He loved solving mysteries, discovering unusual things, and learning about nature and all the wonders around him. Mika noticed things that others might walk right past without even seeing. He could stop and count the spots on a ladybug, or spend a long time watching a tiny spider weave its web and admire the beautiful patterns it created. He could hear the whisper of leaves, the music of the stream quietly chatting with the pebbles, and he understood the songs and conversations of birds. Sometimes the birds would argue loudly and talk over one another, but Mika always knew how to calm them down, and soon the forest would become peaceful again. Mika loved looking up at the bright blue sky, but the sky was not always clear and sunny. Sometimes the wind would arrive, bringing large dark clouds with it. The clouds would grow heavy and gloomy. Lightning would flash across the sky, and then the rain would begin. The rain drummed on the roof and tapped against the windows. Mika loved listening to this unusual music, the quiet symphony of the rain. Sometimes the rain arrived very softly. There was no thunder, no lightning. It simply whispered to the leaves, the rooftops, and the grass. And whenever that happened, Mika felt as if the rain was a little sad, as if it wanted to tell the forest, the river, the flowers, and every living creature its own magical story. One cloudy day, Mika was walking through the magical forest. The sun kept hiding behind the clouds and then peeking out again, as if it were playing hide and seek with the forest, scattering its warm golden rays across the leaves and grass. As usual, Mika admired the trees, listened to the birds, and chatted with the forest. Everything around him was quiet. Only a gentle breeze softly stirred the leaves in the trees. Then, suddenly, Mika noticed a flock of swallows. They were flying very low above the ground, as if they were trying to warn the forest about something. The old oak quietly creaked its branches and said, "A heavy rain is coming soon." Mika looked at the oak in surprise. "How do you know that?" he asked. "Everything is so quiet. Nothing seems to suggest that rain is coming." The oak took a deep breath and gently swayed its mighty branches. Mika, I have lived in this forest for many, many years. I can feel the moisture through my roots, hear the clouds before anyone else, and understand the language of the wind. Mika listened carefully. Can't you feel how everything around us has changed? The oak asked softly. Mika grew still and listened carefully. The leaves in the trees seemed to have fallen quiet, waiting for the rain. The swallows were flying lower and lower above the ground. Insects had begun hiding beneath leaves and under the bark of trees. Even the little stream no longer sang as cheerfully as before, as if it, too, were listening to the sky. The air felt different now, warm, humid, and filled with the rich scent of grass, earth, and the forest. Before the rain arrives, the whole forest begins to change, the old oak said softly. The birds, the trees, the grass, the stream, everything can feel it coming. The oak fell silent for a moment before continuing. The forest begins listening to the rain long before the very first drop falls. Mika looked around in amazement. For the first time, I can feel how different the forest has become. Everything feels different. Even the air feels heavier now. It's so warm and humid. And the swallows are flying so close to the ground. The old oak gently rustled its leaves and replied, "These are the signs that a heavy rain is coming soon." Mika lifted his head and looked up at the sky. It had already turned gray, and heavy dark clouds drifted slowly overhead. Then suddenly, the first raindrop fell from the sky. It was large, warm, and heavy. It landed right on a broad green leaf. The leaf trembled under the weight of the drop, as if it, too, could feel the rain approaching. The air grew even more humid, and the scent of the forest became stronger and richer. Mika stood perfectly still and looked up in wonder. The rain was beginning. The wind was growing stronger. Dark clouds drifted slowly across the sky, covering the sun. Mika lifted his little face toward the sky. A second raindrop fell, then a third. The scattered raindrops tapped more and more often against the leaves, the grass, and the water in the stream. Then suddenly, a loud clap of thunder rolled across the forest. A bright flash of lightning lit up everything around it for just a moment. And then the rain came pouring down, as if someone high above the clouds had tipped over a giant bucket of water. Raindrops drummed loudly on the leaves, the tree trunks, the grass, and the rushing stream. The forest filled with the sound of rain. The rain grew heavier and heavier. The ground quickly became soaked. The grass bent low, and the flowers lowered their heads beneath the weight of the large raindrops. The stream rushed faster, and louder, splashing against the pebbles along its path. Some leaves were torn from the trees, twirling through the air before landing in the water and drifting away with the swift current. The wind grew stronger and stronger, swaying the branches of the trees. The old oak rustled its leaves anxiously and said, "Mika, hurry and shelter beneath my branches. You're completely soaked." But the little bear simply lifted his face toward the sky and smiled. "No, old oak, I want to smell the rain. I want to discover what it smells like." Raindrops drummed loudly on the leaves, the grass, the water in the stream, and on Mika's wet fur. And Mika laughed with delight as he splashed through the puddles. Water splashed in every direction while the rain continued to fall harder and harder. Then Mika began to sing at the top of his voice, "Rain, rain, pour away, water all the earth today." And suddenly it seemed to Mika that the rain had heard him. The raindrops began to sparkle and sing even more brightly, as if the rain itself were happy and laughing along with the little bear. A gentle breeze drifted between the trees and carried with it a barely audible voice. "Thank you, little bear. Not everyone welcomes the rain the way you do." Mika froze. Then the rain whispered softly, "Can you hear me? Now I can talk to you, too." Mika stood very still, listening to the voice of the rain. The raindrops continued to tap softly against the leaves, the grass, and his wet fur. Quietly, the little bear asked, "Rain, why are you crying?" For a moment, everything around him became still. Only the soft rustle of raindrops could be heard among the leaves. Then the rain answered gently, "Why do you think I'm crying?" Mika thought for a moment and whispered, "Because your raindrops look like tears." The rain seemed to smile. The raindrops chimed more softly now, warmer and gentler than before. People on earth often think that I arrive carrying sadness, but I am not crying at all. I come to the earth to make it even more beautiful. After I pass through, the forest feels freshly washed. The leaves begin to shine. The flowers and grass drink deeply from the water, and the streams become fuller and happier. I bring coolness after hot days, and I help all living things." Mika smiled happily and said, "I know another miracle that appears after the rain. A rainbow. A little sunbeam told me all about it." The rain softly rustled through the falling drops, as if it was smiling too. "Yes, Mika, when rain meets sunshine, a rainbow appears in the sky. It is nature's gift to the entire forest. It is as if the sun is thanking the rain. After the rain, the earth becomes cleaner, fresher, and more beautiful. The grass stands tall again. The flowers come back to life. The leaves sparkle, and the air fills with freshness. And then a rainbow appears across the sky. A true wonder of nature, born from rain and sunshine." Suddenly, Mika heard a loud voice behind him. "Ribbit! Ribbit! Ribbit!" The little bear quickly turned around and saw a large green frog. She was sitting in a deep puddle, happily croaking and tapping her foot on the water as the rain fell around her. Raindrops landed right on her head, but the frog only smiled with delight. For some, rain is something sad, she croaked cheerfully. But for us, it's pure happiness. I absolutely love the rain, Mika laughed, and the raindrops seemed to chime merrily all around them as if they were celebrating too. Little by little, the rain began to slow. The thunder was rumbling far away now, and a gentle breeze wandered quietly between the trees. The dark rain cloud drifted farther and farther away, carrying the rain with it. Then Mika heard a familiar whisper, "Goodbye, little bear. Until we meet again." Mika waved his paw happily and called after the rain, "I'll be waiting for you, and I'll always be happy to see the rain again." Just then, the sun peeked out from behind the clouds. Its warm rays spread throughout the forest. One sunbeam touched the rain-soaked leaves. Another danced across the flowers and grass. A third sparkled on the tiny drops of water in the stream. The forest seemed to come alive after the rain. Everything shimmered, glistened, and sparkled in the sunlight. Then, high above the forest, a rainbow appeared in the sky. The rain had met the sunshine, a true wonder of nature. The rainbow gently glowed with all the colors of the sky. A light breeze wandered once again between the trees, and the leaves softly rustled as if they were whispering to one another. The birds sang brightly throughout the forest, celebrating the fresh air after the rain. Everything around Mika looked clean, refreshed, and wonderfully beautiful. The old oak rustled its mighty branches with satisfaction and said, "Well, the forest has washed itself in the rain once again, quenched its thirst with fresh water, and come back to life after the hot day." Then the oak looked carefully at the soaking wet little bear and added kindly, "And you, little bear, should warm yourself in the sunshine. Make sure your fur dries quickly, or you might catch a cold after such a heavy rain." The warm rays of the sun gently touched Mika's wet fur, while the light breeze helped it dry. One warm golden sunbeam was especially fond of Mika. It often glided across his paw and through his fur, as if watching over him and keeping him safe. The old oak softly rustled its leaves and continued, "When you get home, be sure to drink a cup of warm milk with honey. It will help keep you from getting sick after the rain." Mika laughed happily, said goodbye to the frog, waved his paw to the old oak, and ran home along the wet forest path. All evening long, he thought about the rain, the rainbow, and the cheerful frog who loved rainy days so much. Outside, everything was growing quieter. The sun slowly sank below the horizon, and the magical forest began preparing for sleep. The trees softly rustled their leaves as if inviting the whole forest to rest. The little stream murmured quietly now. Even the golden sunbeam had become softer and gentler. It quietly glided across the room as if it wanted to wish the little bear sweet dreams. By now, Mika was fast asleep in his warm, cozy bed. And now, it's time for you to close your eyes and drift off to sleep too. Quiet now. Softer and softer. May you dream of warm rain, a beautiful rainbow, and the magical forest of little bear Mika. Good night.